Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be getting to some case trimming, some deburring and chamfering, as well as possibly primer seating. We may make that its own video. I'll just have to see how things go. So kick back, enjoy, take some notes, leave me a like and comment. It'd be great. We'll get into it. Okay, so here we are at our trimming station. Don't mind the mess. We got a stack of reload manuals, we got a shotgun press, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, this is where we got our trimmer set up, just an RCBS hand case trimmer. So, unfortunately, the two pieces of brass we did last week, where you guys saw us resize them, they are actually shorter than what the brass I've been using for my precision reloading is. So this is set for that. I'm not going to change it to actually take any off of these, but I'll go through this step so you can see what that looks like. So again, we need our digital calipers, we need our brass, our trimmer, and the trimmer needs to have, I believe they call these bushings, but you need one of those for your caliber. So this is a 30 cal bushing. You can get different sizes. I think we bought a kit, like a universal kit, and that goes into the end of the cutter blade using a small Allen set screw. And that's to make sure that your brass is centered. So anyway, what you're going to do to start off is you're going to go through with a set of calipers, zero them out to where they're closed with a little bit of pressure like we went over last week. And then you're going to measure all of your brass that you've resized, every single piece. And take note of the shortest piece of brass. So you get to one that's shorter than the others, write it down. If you find one that's shorter than that, write it down. That measurement is going to help determine your trim length. Now, technically you don't have to trim, but you might as well for consistency. So, we're gonna just play with some numbers here. I gotta grab my book because I need to see what mine is set at here. Again, have a notebook, okay? So my case trimmed length for my brass is 2.486 thousandths, okay? These are shorter than that. But either way, you're going to take your measurements of all your brass, okay? Say we were going to do these. This one is 2.84. And the other one is I'm sorry. I told you that one wrong. I skipped over a decimal point. 2.484. And this one is 2.475. So that's our shortest one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1,000th off of that, and there's our trim length. Okay, so we want our trim length on these pieces of brass, they would be 2.474. Okay, so you're going to take your brass, your shortest one, you push your lever, pop your case rim down in there, get it tight, run this up, and I like to kind of push down on the little arm here as I'm moving the cutter up to center it up. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, fellers and fellettes. We didn't run this through the sizing die with the decapper to expand the neck back out, so that's okay. I will show you on one of my pieces of already trimmed brass. It's the same thing, same concept. Either way, these are all the same size, already trimmed. So you put it in there, and that will help get that lined up. You want it to be even. So you're going to just run it in there until it touches. And I like to have the handle down so I can do it the same. At that point, you're going to move this collar by loosening these two Allen screws. Actually, you just loosen this one on this particular model, and it will allow you to slide that stop. You're going to slide the stop up until it touches the body. Okay, at that point, you're going to tighten this rear set screw. Okay, once you've got that set, give it a turn. See if it takes anything off. You'll hear it, you'll feel it. And you're just putting a little bit of pressure in, not too much, because you can adjust that on accident. So do that, remeasure. Likely it's not going to take anything off, and that is okay. At that point, you're going to loosen this set screw. Okay, and each trimmer is going to be different. Follow their instructions how to do it. But however, I know for this press, I'm going to loosen this screw, and then you're going to turn this collar away from me, which would be counterclockwise if you're looking at it this direction, because I'm loosening this collar away from this collar, so therefore, I'm backwards. That would make your measurement longer. You're going to tighten or turn it clockwise towards this, because you're going to shrink this gap, okay? Now, these hash marks are just for reference. I believe they're a 1 thou hash mark, and actually, I want to say that lined up when I did this last brass. So again, I like to put the handle down. So for my press, it worked out. I just lined up the handle down with the set screw, with the line, with this line, okay? So then, again, you would loosen this, holding this steady, turn this collar 1 hash mark to the right, towards you. So it tightens it towards this rear collar. Lock that down with your Allen screw. Do your trim again, and depending on the brand again, then you would remeasure, and that should put you at your measured length. Okay? You might have to play it a little, but either way, the gist of it, you find your measured length, shortest measured length of brass. After you've done your resizing and depriming, you subtract 1/1000th of an inch, which would be the 3rd decimal point over, and that is your trim to length. So, we've already done that. I'm going to put those aside, turn that off. We've already done that for this entire bin of brass. And in here I have a little hand deburring tool, okay? So, did I already do one? That looks like it is already done. Maybe I did that last night. We'll check it real quick because I know what my measurement needs to be. And again, you're going to turn your brass, okay? Ooh, this one does not feel like it's good. So that one actually could use a trim. So we're going to put it in there. Trimmer. Give it a few turns. I also like to push down and turn the case, like a 1/4 turn, 1/3 of a turn, whatever. Do that a couple times. And you hear that, it kind of took a little bit off. And then we'll check it again. That should be good. It definitely took a little bit off. It wasn't quite square. Perfect, 2.486, which is my trim length. Okay, so then, there's a bunch of media in there. Okay. It's a good idea to have a couple different tubs, right? So I'm starting with my brass here. I trimmed it all, put it in here. Now I'm going to deburr it. And then once I'm done deburring it, it'll go back into this tub. And this is a tedious little process, but what I do, I start with the inner diameter deburr portion, the pointy portion. You just put it in until it touches, and I give it like 3 little swipes. So 3. If you can look, it kind of chamfers the inside edge. Okay? Then you're going to flip this tool around and do the same thing. Put it in there until it touches. That has been chamfered and deburred. And you can look at it, just make sure there's no burrs, no sharp edges, nice and smooth looking. And then this one particularly also has a primer pocket cleaner, which these have already all been done. You put it in there and you just kind of use that to clean out your primer pocket. Not the end of the world. You do not have to do that on 1-fired brass. But you have it as a tool, you might as well. I see now why I had that one set aside. It has a kernel of tumbler media in the flash hole. I need to run that through that universal sizing die just to poke that out. But yeah, so then you're going to go through each piece, inner diameter. Oh, I missed a step, see? Outer diameter, primer pocket. And I also prefer to do that because you can look and you want to make sure you can see daylight through your flash hole. Because if there's something blocking that, likely it's going to go click instead of bang. So once you've done all 3, into that bin. We'll do it again. and that's just as fast as this goes. I mean, it's not super fast, not super slow. That one had a good burr on it. And these have already been pretty well cleaned, so I'm just verifying that the flash hole is not blocked. And when I find one that's dented, I'll show you what that looks like from last week's video when you over oil your brass while sizing. And it doesn't have to be 3 times, just a few times. If you do your 3 and you notice there's a burr hanging off of it still, certainly go a little bit more. Okay. So yeah, this can be kind of tedious and mundane, but it is a step you need to do. If you trim your brass, you need to do this. You certainly don't have to. I've done plenty of loads where I did not do that. But you could have feeding issues in your rifle, and you're going to have inconsistent neck tension, how much force is holding the bullets and all that. You just don't want to do that. It's one of those things that it's not worth it to not do. And these aren't that expensive. Maybe at the end of the series, I will do an Excel spreadsheet to show you guys what everything has cost that I use, and then kind of compare that to a very beginner setup. But yeah, so to not bore you guys with this process, we're going to call it there for the day. And yeah, next week, we're going to be going into, I say next week, that's just when the video is uploading. If you guys haven't caught on yet, I'm doing this all in one day to build content. Either way, next week's episode, we're going to be doing primer seating as well as powder charges and bullet seating. So thanks for watching, guys. If you found that helpful or interesting or either, leave me a thumbs up, drop a comment down there. Let's hear from you. I want to know what I can do better, what you're not liking so far. If you have any questions or comments, if you think I might have skipped over something, let me know. I'm more than willing to learn. I have learned so much in the last 3 weeks, it's not even funny. I thought I knew it all, and Little Crow Gunworks, again, I'm going to shout him out. He called me out, and I really liked his series on that. So that being said, let's keep going with it, and we'll get some finished rounds here before too long. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next time.